This morning on this beautiful day. Today, we're going to do is we're going to take a little detour just to talk about a really significant spiritual concept, and that is the idea of contrasting opposites. And I want to read for you a little bit out of a piece of Christian New Church theology, where Emmanuel Swedenborg talks about this, and it's a consistent theme, and I think it's one that actually can be very freeing in our lives when we start to see, oh yeah, this is how it all works. It is part of the divine design that things proceed from beginning to end. This is both a pattern overall and a pattern in all things. This allows for variety in everything, and this allows for there to be qualities of all kinds. Darkness allows us to appreciate what a wonderful thing light is. It's really interesting. Like what really strikes me is the line in there where this variety allows us to appreciate the qualities in all things. So here we've been looking at, this idea again of there's this part of our brain that really is consumed with being right. There's a part of our brain that really wants to be loving, and that this rightness part can become extremely aggressive at times and can really wound the loving part. That is absolutely true. Like I keep on thinking back. I know I've mentioned it here, a bunch of times, but I keep on thinking back to, yeah, that's why when two couples fall in love, if one becomes deeply committed to being right, and that's it, they're gonna really struggle in their marriage. So it's an interesting dichotomy here, right? And it's so easy to look at this and say like, oh yeah, I can see that, or I can see that myself, or I can see that in my partner, I can see that in this struggle, I can see that in that struggle. And what I want to remind people of is that those struggles are known as contrasting opposites. They're known as contrasting opposites. And in God's economy, super important, say this a lot. Thank you, Reverend Shada Sullivan, for giving me this phrase. In God's economy, nothing is ever wasted. Like it just isn't. There are all kinds of contrasting opposites, all kinds of feelings of loneliness, despair, frustration, anger, all that stuff. And the trick is, don't live in that as an island, but instead see it as part of the journey. I want to say that again. Don't live in that as an island. See it as part of the journey. Because there's a way in which when we see it as part of the journey, like, oh yeah, this is where I am today. It's very honest and very candid. It's not about going like, nothing to see here, folks. Doing totally fine. Live your best life now. No problems here. It's saying, yeah, there is a problem, and there is sadness, and there is anger, and there is frustration, and there is withdrawal, whatever it might be, like fill in the blank, because of X, Y, and Z. And the challenge becomes when we get stuck there versus saying, oh yeah, and this is part of the journey. This is part of how it all goes. And those contrasting opposites consistently invite us back into the better things of life, and consistently will help us to find new qualities in ourselves where we can be in this really hard place, and instead of sort of wallowing in it, which again we'll do that for a while, I think inevitably, but instead of wallowing in it, we start to look and think, okay, what's the quality here? What's the gift that God's asking me to bring out? And it doesn't mean like please remember, it does not mean that the solution gets solved. I think so much of our Western culture is about like what's the problem solving mechanism. I got a problem, how do I get it solved? That's not the spiritual life. That's for engineers, not pastors, to talk about. Pastors are to talk about there's a lot of problems you're not going to solve in life. And we have to be able to still find peace and still find meaning and still find beauty, which is entirely possible. But we have to, instead of seeing like these issues, again, just as an island, the island of fill in the blank, anger, apathy, vengeance, whatever, we have to see it as part of the journey. And we have to allow God to kind of stir into our heart, which will happen, what the different beautiful blessings are that we can learn to then bring into life. One of the ones I was thinking of this morning, and it's one of my favorite analogies. And I actually, the little graphic for this that I'm going to be putting up shows two people walking in an opposite direction. That's a contrasting opposite of sorts. And there's this beautiful, beautiful Chartres Cathedral labyrinth, which probably some of you are very aware of. If not, I highly recommend, as soon as we're off this, that you give it a Google. And I talk about it a lot because I just think it's brilliant theology. And so, long story short, as you go into this labyrinth and you wind your way through, you almost immediately end up, winning is getting home. You almost immediately end up home, but then you get a detour. Welcome to life, right? We get the new job, think it's going to solve everything, not so much, And then we go on this windy path, and it's a beautiful windy path. And at certain parts in the path, if you're walking it with a loved one, you're going to be going like this. You literally will be going in opposite directions. That's a contrasting opposite. But remember, it's still the same path. That's what Swedenborg is driving at here. It's a contrasting opposite. It appears you're going a different direction, but you're still on the path. Matter of fact, you're always on the path. You can never not be on the path. And that this path is all about us learning the lessons that God is trying to gift us with. And it's not like even the language of like lessons always is a little like because that sort of has a like, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. I don't think that's quite the way God works. I think God offers these lessons, offers these things. And the reality is the places where we already are, they're where our heart already is. And it's just really about coming home. Church, if anything, is just the art of homecoming. That's simple. So, folks, the takeaway is this: is you may be experiencing a contrasting opposite, and probably most of us are, and probably probably most of us live. I'm trying to think how to say this. Probably most of us live in that island of like, oh man, this is so hard, versus seeing it as a journey. At least I do. I live in those islands, but then I get these little glimpses on rare occasions where no, it's all really part of the journey. And that's just where to bump out your attentiveness today. It's just see it as part of the journey. Know there are contrasting opposites. Know that God's going to work with those if we just can quiet ourselves enough. God's going to work with those actually to refine your gifts. Like, go figure that. Nothing wasted. Go God. And that I see over and over and over again, which is indeed a true blessing. So that's my thought here today, folks. And I hope that makes sense. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little meditation. We're going to do a little prayer. We're going to do a little blessing, and then we'll say hi to folks on social media. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and bring you peace and bring you home. Amen. All right, friends, let's give a little cheery hello to folks. And again, I hope you're having a beautiful day out there. Sure is beautiful out here. Also, financial update, we're down to a little under $30,000 to raise. So again, any financial help you can give us today as we finish up our fiscal year is always, always, always deeply, deeply appreciated as we come to the close here. All right, a few comments here. All right. Joy, great to see you joining us this morning. Hope you're doing well. Susan, good morning to you, and I hope you are having a great day out there. Sherry writes, blessings through lessons. It's really true, and it is fascinating, right? Like how, yeah, blessings through lessons. And I think, right, it's so easy to think that they're just going to see sort of blessings by fiat, like Tinkerbell's going to run over some of us and just sprinkle a few. And the reality is they come as part of the journey, which is interesting. My buddy Craig, you are welcome, my friend. So great to see you joining us this morning. Sherry writes, it gets easier as you get older. Yeah, I find that area that now that I'm 57, it doesn't have quite the same edge to it all the time. It has hard things, but not the same edge, which is sure nice. And Lee, my dear cousin, writing us from down, she's saying, good morning from Florida. I hope you're having a good, no doubt, very warm time down there, Lee, and great to see you joining us this morning. So, folks, thank you very much for joining us. And again, for all of you joining us archived, feel free, as many of you do, to leave comments throughout the day, and I'll get to them in turn if I see them. And no matter what platform you are on, wishing you all the very best. God bless. Have a great day thinking about that idea of contrasting opposites, nothing wasted. And remember, it's all about bringing out those blessings. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.